Hello, hi, how are you? Today I want just to talk about something that I've learned how raising up children. There are a few things I've always said that the best person to start teaching and even introducing some of the topics to the child should be the parent. And I'm very sure that probably those of you are parents out there, we understand why, because they are very sensitive topics. Like now, when you talk about sexuality, whether you're having a boy or a girl, it's very important that if the parents can be the first ones to talk about that. Not only that, even the issues about religious matters, talk about the issues about life and many other things. When a parent introduces you, of course, you trust your parent. Then you can be able to trust any other person, whether it's a teacher or whoever. But in most cases, it becomes a little bit hard. How do you start a topic? And one of the key things I've always discovered here is I remember over the weekend we had a walk. We had a walk with my family, and then I remember when we were walking, and then my daughter called people to ask a question. And not only when we are walking, even I've discovered that when you are in, probably we are sitting or we are revising or we are doing some write-ups there and there. Remember one time my daughter asking me, where was I when you people did a wedding that I didn't match? So you were telling her that you were not yet born. And she was asking, what do you mean that I wasn't yet born? So I had to start explaining that when we married, we didn't have any child. And then now I used that just to talk about sex. And then I used that opportunity to keep on explaining what marriage is, what is a wedding, what is the difference between marriage and a wedding and all those things. And I remember explaining a lot. And then one time, our neighbor they were solemnizing their marriage. And they asked, you people, you told me that I was not yet born, but now, how come so and so they're doing a wedding and already they have grown-up children? So I had to use that opportunity again to explain. I remember one time, my daughter was asking me, when we had a small baby, the brother, and then was asking me, he was looking when I'm cleaning the baby, I'm changing the diapers, and then it's looking at me, and then I'm telling her that this is a boy. That is why you're seeing him like this, and you are a girl. So what am I talking about? Some of these magic moments, you can't really sit with a child and start saying, now today I'm going to teach you about this and that. Sometimes it may not be possible for you to do that. But creating opportunities or creating avenues that you can be able to have those magic moments. The magic moments, those moments that a child initiates a topic. Don't run away. Child can ask you, where do babies come from? Don't just start saying, oh, mtoto anatoka kwa supermarket. No, that is very wrong. Use that opportunity to say, yeah, a baby is born when a man who is married and a woman who is married. Magic moments, don't ever try to run away from the questions. Don't try to, probably a child can ask you, oh, by the way, I remember even there was one time my daughter was asking me, I need to have a phone. Then I asked her, why do you need to have a phone? Saying I need to have a phone because everybody in my class is having a phone. So I use that opportunity to say, well, everybody might be having a phone, but do you know why they're having a phone? Why do you think you need a phone? So what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that sometimes there are things that kids can ask you. Number one, it's not very easy for them to ask. So you have to create an environment. This environment that you create, probably you are spending some time together. Maybe probably you're in the dining table, or maybe you're walking, or you're in the garden, or whichever place that you are, depending on which is your locality. And then in the process, a question comes. Kindly be very honest and answer the question. I remember my daughter was asking me another day that are we supposed to grumble before God? And then I had to sit and ask her, what do you mean? What do you mean by grumbling? So don't run away. And sometimes when they ask me a question and I'm not so sure about it, I say, can I do more research? And then we'll be able to talk about it. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about creating magic moments. Number one, you don't really, sometimes the moment you keep on staying together, so the more time you spend with your kids, the more magic moments keep on popping up and down. And remember, sometimes they can ask you one or two, three questions. that same question with another follow-up question, but of course they will understand. And they might not be able to, nobody will ever convince them from what you've given them. So sometimes people fear, oh, no. Just answer what they ask. And just be plain. Answer those questions. Another thing also I've discovered here is also create an environment that can enable your kids just to make probably some fun, walking and such. Sometimes kids can ask you, but how did you used to score? Don't just tell them you used to be number one because you want them to work hard. No. Remember the other day my daughter dropped from, just a slight drop from what the positions that she normally, or maybe from the marks that she normally gets. And I tried to be a bit tough. I said, oh, what happened? She told me, it's okay. But before even you ask me questions, I want you to understand the type of questions that we did. I said, oh, let me have a look at the questions. And then, of course, I agree. The questions were tough. So magic moments, whether you are talking about education, whether you're talking about the sensitive topics like sexuality, about sex or all those things, or maybe they are talking about some of the things that they have seen that have happened, maybe probably also even some of the people that have mishandled them. Maybe probably there is a house girl who has mishandled them, or maybe there's a houseboy, or maybe there's a student in class, or there's somebody who behaves funny in the car. One of the key things also I've discovered when you're with the children is allow them just to tell you stories. Tell you stories. Oh, in the bus, najua kuna kijana huyu anakanga hivi. Just keep on listening, because they will help you also to know what kind of challenges and what kind of circumstances they're going through. So listen to the stories. What happened in the school? What happens in the bus? What happened? Why don't you like so and so? Just listen and keep on prompting lead slightly so that you can be able to get more answers. Or maybe sometimes you might find your child telling you, oh, by the way, I might want to do this and this. Like I've always seen my kids keep on changing professions. Mara, they're telling me I want to be a doctor. At one point, somebody who's going to deal with forestry. At one point, engineering. At one point, I think journalism comes in. At one point, engineering comes in. At one point, I hear a lawyer and such. Just allow them, because even as they talk, just use that opportunity just to explain what it means just to be a lawyer, what it means just to do law, what it means for someone to do medicine and such. Because such kind of magic moments can really help. Number one, bring out issues the way they are. Explain to the child some of the questions that are disturbing them. At the same time, use that opportunity just to make sure that you give them authentic answers, instead of getting them from someone else who probably may not be able to tell them, or may not be able to give them the way they are supposed to be. Thank you so much for watching. If you think I made some little sense to you, kindly you can share, you can make a comment. Remember, the key things we are talking about here is always create as a parent, create opportunities that magic moments can be able to prop up, and don't run away from the questions. Just try to be honest as you can, because by so doing, then you are playing your role the way you ought to be. Thank you so much. Have a great time.